be able to.
All right.
We're good to go. It looks like I should. Hopefully, the Instagram isn't bugging out.
It is.
It is. Just
Yep.
wait, because I'm just allowed to hit go live now.
Wait. Nope, we got it.
Yay! We got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, and welcome to Football After Hours here with Scoop and Shane. We've been on vacation for 2 weeks. I know, Scoop, you were out of town. Brandon's out of town in Portugal. How was the vacay, guys?
Wait, who's going first?
You go first, Scoop, because I know you were out of town. We weren't. We were just chilling.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, my bad. It was wonderful. I had actually back-to-back trips. I was in Boston with my mother, and then I was in New Jersey to see fellow alumni from Seton Hall and a couple of friends that I have from other places in Jersey as well. So it was wonderful, and I'm excited to be back on the show now. I did miss you guys for sure, and yeah, it's been a great way to spend my last couple of weeks, and this could be a great way to spend the next hour.
Yeah, for sure. Good to be back in the fold. Just getting up, of course. Training camp started this week, so a good way to get back in the football mood. Okay, running back draft. Yep, running back draft. Scoop goes first. Shane goes second. I go third. We all know who's going one, but do the honors, Scoop.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste anybody's time with this for too long. I mean, let's be honest. The guy who just broke the full, season and postseason rushing record, over 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, more yards of 15. I'm sorry, more runs of 15 yards last year than anybody else. Doing it all by only accruing one penalty the whole year. Saquon Barkley, he not only became one of my favorite players. One of my favorite guys to watch on the Eagles. He probably is now my favorite player, which I don't think you could have convinced me 18 months ago that I would have ever said that. But I've become a huge Barkley fan, both on and off the field. So that's my number one guy.
Yeah, I think that's the easy choice. And Shane, you have an easy choice at number 2 as well.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. I think I see a lot of people online putting Henry at 1, which I don't agree with, but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, he did have more yards per carry last year and had, I would argue, a worse offensive line. But at the end of the day, I mean, Saquon broke, like you said, the whole rushing record for postseason and rate. So it's like you got to go with that.
Let's just say Saquon broke the league, because that's basically what he did last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I mean, I'll say this one thing: backwards hurdle over a guy in the NFL. That's
right. That I put that as our logo today. So that's straight up. Yeah.
But the other thing too is, since this is a draft, I mean, Saquon is also 4 years younger than Henry. I mean, Henry being 31. For a running
I'll be honest, I hadn't even factored in age, but that's a great point.
I didn't either until just now. But I mean, Henry being 31 right now, he's the shelf life for a running back, especially when it's physical as he is not particularly long. I think it's safe to assume Henry is probably nearing the end of his prime unless something crazy happens. Whereas I feel like Saquon's just entering his. So yeah, there's that too. But second over, yes, Derrick Henry is still second overall.
Okay, this is where it gets a little. So my list, I kind of just went, okay, let me just, because it to me. Yeah, it got hard towards the middle, which we talked about at the beginning. But here I was like, oh, what do I do? I'm going to take the guy who would have went around this range last year, and I'm still going to have some belief. Give me Christian McCaffrey at number 3. I know the injuries. I get it, and it's still a major concern. I mean, look, a lot of these guys on this list have some injuries, but I'm still going to take the guy that I feel most confident in at his peak for number 3, and that's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I have him at 5. So, I mean, yeah, the injuries are a concern, obviously, but like, at the end of the day, when he's healthy and he's humming, I mean, it's pretty hard to top that. So,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Scoop, I know you don't have like a definitive list, but you still think he should be top 5, right?
I would definitely agree with that. Five itself is probably around where I would have had him as well, just based on how I'm both thinking and looking at things as we go. Five feels about a good spot for him. At one point, I think a lot of people would have had him one, but like you said, the age, the injuries, and of course the fact that he plays. Let's be honest, San Francisco has never been. During his time there, San Francisco's never really been known of a place where you go and you maintain a certain level of longevity in that offense. So I think that all those things coming together, I think 5 is a safe spot for him.
Yeah. So I had him
Not
a bit
to mention
above
their
that.
offensive line is terrible.
Yeah.
Aside from Trent Williams.
That's something that's difficult to factor in as well in this draft. So,
well, offensive line is like if you hadn't gone with Saquon, like if someone else had the one pick and they went Henry over Saquon, that's probably the biggest argument I could have had to justify that. Is that the Eagles had such a dominant offensive line, and so he was working with a lot less of support. So I think that could have been an easy justification for one as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Scoop, go ahead here with the second round.
All right. If I'm not 100% sure I'm remembering this correctly, but if I'm remembering correctly, I took this guy's quarterback early on in our quarterback draft, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take him. He's leading that physicality up in that sort of revamp up in the NFC North. He's got a coach that I think buys into physicality, ground and pound toughness. He's bringing back old school football as part of the Detroit Lions. Give me Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right. I like this pick. I had him pretty low at 13, to be honest. Just because
I'll also add this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll also add this. Almost 200 fewer attempts than Saquon and the same number of touchdowns last year.
Right, but that's also why I had him a little low, I think, on my board, because I look at it as like a 1-2 punch, and those are really tough to rank. But, I mean, Shane, at the same time, this is still the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, and they are the best duo for a reason, because they both individually are very good. I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 4, so right here where you're taking him, Scoop. Yeah, just because he's definitely more of a quick finesse type runner, but he's also not afraid to get physical and kind of play that Detroit style of football, and he's just fun to watch. Like
very fun to watch.
Yeah.
If there's anyone that's gonna have weird picks, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be honest, because I went all over the shop. So trust me, I know some of these are gonna be weird.
We're doing running backs. I think one of the things that I think the biggest consensus in the NFL is that there's no consensus when it comes to running backs.
True. Wait till we do receivers.
That's going to be I'm not going to say it on air, but that's going to be a mind, and you know what the second part of that is.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Shane, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to take the guy that I have 3rd overall, and that's number 7 out of the ATL. Give me Bijan Robinson. I think he really took a big leap forward here in year 2. Or was it year 3? No, it was year 2.
No, 2.
And, I think right now he, in my opinion, is the most versatile running back in terms of rushing and receiving. So, I not to mention, I mean, he's kind of other than Drake London, he was kind of Atlanta's entire offense. So yeah, I think I've been very impressed with him so far, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do.
Yeah, I had him still in the top 10, but I had him at 9. I had a few guys above him, but I still really like how he plays. And again, I think his career in Atlanta, a little bit up and down, but part of that is now having Penix certainly helps him getting a proper starter. But Scoop, what do you think about Bijan here?
I think it's definitely an indicator of believing in the new coaching staff as well. It's they have what they went from
I
having
don't.
one of the, sorry?
I said I don't. I think they have
Oh.
a bottom 5 coaching staff in the league.
Oh, okay. My apologies then. I didn't mean to put words in anybody's mouth. But at the same time, they obviously did a very unique move with getting the two guys that they had at QB, and they've went from having one of the most prolific offenses in the league for several years to being just complete. To call them a dumpster fire would be a disservice to dumpsters and fires. So I think to see what they're going to do this year, I think a lot of people are waiting to see, can an offense led by both Pitts and Bijan Robinson finally pop. So we'll see what happens this year. It should be interesting.
Yeah. All right, I'm up. Let's go James Cook, a guy who needs a new contract. But yeah, he's really impressive adding to what they do in Buffalo. Hopefully he gets paid soon. But I think having him here, I had him at 4, so I'm really happy with this selection. Scoop, what do you say here for James Cook?
I think this is right around the range. If I had your pick right here, that's someone I probably would have very much considered. And I also think now it's also helped by the fact, he has Josh Allen, on whom I've really come around. I was probably one of the latest cynics on Josh Allen that there was. But and I think they've kind of played off of each other in the fact that now, Josh Allen doesn't have to be both Clark Kent and Superman on every drive. So I look forward to seeing what they're able to do there. And if they can be consistent with their trench game, this could be a big year for him.
Superman, good movie, by the way. Really good. Shane,
I have not seen a single one of them.
Oh, the new one's great. Shane, go ahead on Cook here for you.
Yeah, I had him 8th, so yeah, taking him here at 6. I don't mind that. More than anything, I just want Buffalo to lean on him more because I feel like they still don't enough.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, Scoop, go ahead.
All right. I kind of vacillated between two guys with this selection, but third this past year rated in elusiveness, somebody who had somebody who accumulated 76 first downs, which was right up there among guys in the NFL. Number 3 in yards after contact, so he was really able to extend plays even when he was not. Even when he was in physicality. And the only hope that people have to have is that his new head coach is not going to give the ball to their quarterback if they end up in the Super Bowl on a red zone situation. I'm speaking, of course, of Mr. Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Josh Jacobs is with the Packers now, so that's a good sign. He's been with he was with the Packers last year, but it's definitely a great selection. He produced so well under a new scheme, and I still have him at like 17, which is pretty low, but I really like what he provides to the table. Shane, what about you here?
You're right. I apologize. I said I said Raiders. I meant to say Packers. My apologies on that one.
Totally fine. I still think of him as a Raider sometimes too, to be fair.
He's still listed on this website as a Raider for some godforsaken reason.
What you're looking at PFF, right?
That's correct, yeah.
What? Okay, that's not your fault.
I have no idea.
PFF
they call themselves the cutting edge technology, but can't update their freaking website.
Oh my god! All right, Shane, go ahead on Jacobs. That's bad. Yeah. Okay.
My apologies on that one.
When you said hopefully his new coach doesn't run at the goal line in the Super Bowl. I thought you were going to say Ashton Genty with Pete Carroll in Vegas.
Yeah, that would have made more sense had this thing actually been correct.
But yeah, no. Jacobs, I had Jacobs at 6, so
and this is what, the 7th pick, I think.
Yeah, so
yeah, so
right.
we're in similar territory there.
Yeah, he was. I mean, Jacobs was definitely, I think. Well, I think they're. I mean, obviously, I have, 5 guys ahead of him, but I think there are only 2 running backs in the league who were more important to their team's success than him.
Mm-hmm.
That being Saquon and Henry. Otherwise, I don't think another team benefited as much from their running back as Green Bay did with Josh Jacobs this year.
Right.
So, shows you the kind of workhorse he is, and yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. At number 8, I'll take the guy that I had 7th overall. He used to say quack quack, but now he says arg matey. Give me give me Bucky Irving.
I have Bucky way too low. I have Bucky way too low at 15. I love this kid.
I had no idea what to make of Bucky Irving. I could have put him at 8, or I could have put him at 18. I could have talked myself into either one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at, I look at what he did, and I mean, Tampa for several weeks was without, their top 2 receivers and, other injuries or whatever. And I mean, the reason they stayed in it and stayed competitive was because of Bucky Irving, who just went off. I mean, I think he was like top 5 in yards per carry in the entire league, which is pretty crazy for a rookie. So, yeah, I have to take him here.
Yeah, again, I think as what Scoop said, I had a tough time placing him, but he's still so good, and he's going to get even better in his sophomore season. All right, give me Alvin Kamara. I had him at 5. I'll take him here.
Really?
I don't love this pick necessarily, but I think just longevity proves itself a little bit with him, and honestly, I think he'll get back to the place where he can be this kind of top 5 guy that I have him at. So that's where I have him. It's definitely a little questionable compared to a couple of other guys I have around this range, but I'm happy taking him here.
I had him 24. I just think he's been out of his prime for 3 or 4 years now. I mean, with a running back, I don't see him making a sudden resurgence.
I may have the fantasy stuff stuck in my head too much, maybe. But Scoop, well, on it.
Yeah, maybe.
It went so silent. What happened?
No, Scoop. I was gonna ask about Alvin Kamara. What do you think? Did I take him too high here?
I don't think you took him too high. I think one of the, and this is actually kind of happening several places in the sort of the territory that we're in now, is I think you've got a lot of people who are veterans, and people are like, well, what do we make of him now? What do we make of him in terms of, is he going to be healthy enough? Is he still the guy that he used to be? So I think also when you've got kind of a volatile quarterback situation, like obviously the Saints do, that can sometimes be a factor as well. But no, I think Kamara, he's one of those guys that even 70% of him is better than 100% of a lot of other guys. So I think that's a very justifiable pick here. I probably would have taken him a little bit lower, but I think it's a solid pick here.
Yeah. All right, Scoop, go ahead.
All right. Well, it's funny that you just did that, because I'm going to take somebody else who is a veteran now, who probably some people are, I think, a little bit cooler on, but another guy who's in a volatile quarterback situation. But, we talk about how important O-lines are with regard to this position. He's still got Quentin Nelson. He's still got Rashad Ryman up the left side. And when Daniel Jones is your likely quarterback, we can pretty much believe that they're going to run the ball a decent amount, especially when Shane Steichen's your head coach. Y'all already know who I'm talking about. Put me with Mr. Jonathan Taylor.
Again, another guy I have too low at 18. I've lost faith in him since the contract negotiations, but he's still been really, really good. It's just I don't know if he's at that elite level, but I don't mind the selection here. Shane, what do you say here?
Yeah, I have him 16. He's just, to me, he's a little too up and down. I think, he had his one amazing season in, what was it, 2020 or 19, something like that?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I believe it was 19, but yeah.
Yeah, and then ever since then, it's just seems like he's just kind of been slowly declining. But I do think, if all goes well, we will see a lot of him this year.
I will,
all the reasons
I will throw these. So, I will throw these numbers at y'all. Top 8 in rushing yards rushes of double-digit yards. He was still one of the top breakaway guys in the league this past year. So this is and when it came to first downs, he was 7th among running backs last year. So this is still a guy who's getting his production. Now, you can also say that was because he had a pumpkin at quarterback. So you could probably throw that in there for an argument as well. But, this is a guy who, even if you say these are counting stats, well, that might be true. But at the same time, it's about, the best ability is availability. So especially for somebody like him who'd gotten banged up earlier in his career, I think having those two guys on the left side could, help extend that maybe a little bit longer than some of us thought.
I actually have Alvin Kamara on my list twice, so let me fix my rankings
real quick. We finally figured out the mystery of why there was 30 instead of 39.
Yeah. Jameer Gibbs at 12, Irving at 14, Jacobs at 16. That was the only stuff I had to clarify there. But yeah, there we go. But Shane, go ahead with the next selection.
Yeah. Let's see. So at,
I think I'm gonna get the guy I want. I think I'm gonna get the guy I want. So I'm very curious of what Shane's gonna do, because I hope you don't take him here.
I'm going to take the speedster in Miami, Florida, Devon Achane.
Wow. Okay.
Was that the guy you thought he was taking?
No, but wow. I'm surprised. This is the one that kind of, I want to hear your reasoning for this one.
He's arguably the fastest running back in the league, which, that that counts for something in itself. But I think he's one of those guys that, once he gets into the second level, he's just so dangerous. And once he gets past the line of scrimmage, I think he's one of the most explosive backs in the league. I think it's just getting to that point for him, which, with the recent downgrade at offensive line, it might not work out as well, but still, I think just his natural ability. I really like, every time I see him, I'm very impressed. So, yeah.
I had him at 22, and here's why. I think it's not about him as much as it is that coaching staff. I don't think the coaching staff trusts the running game that much. Like, every time I watch the Dolphins, I'm like, he doesn't get the amount of carries that I think he deserves.
See, but I think you're treating it from a fantasy perspective in that
Probably
sense.
with him in that way. Yeah, I would say so.
Whereas I'm not. I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm making a football team, who do I want as my running back? Not how am I going to take a guy in his current situation?
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Yeah. Scoop, what about you for Devon?
Well, it was just funny when somebody said he might be the fastest running back, because it just made me think about how much just like pure speed has been valued in Miami. Because obviously they had Cheetah Hill. They've got him. Obviously they got a couple of very athletic linemen. They
Waddle.
had Waddle. Thank you. I knew I was forgetting somebody. On the defense they've got some big athletes. And, hopefully my guy Tua Tagovailoa doesn't try and turn into one this year. But I think we're going to have I think that was a solid pick. Again, probably a little bit earlier than I would have had him. But, it's you can't argue with the results. And he definitely put up some blinding numbers on my fantasy team last year.
Shane, do you have anything else on that you want to say? Or
well, I think I can guess the person that you are hoping I wasn't going to take here.
You're going to be surprised. I'm taking the rookie. Good. I'm taking Aston Genty. Give me him.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Please give me him. I am so happy I got him here. Look, is this a projection and a wild one at that? Probably somewhat at 6. Yeah, but I'm fine. I'm okay with it. I'm happy. I think he's gonna be a top 6 guy next year. It's a wild projection, but I think that's how special this guy is to me. Scoop, what do you say about it?
I honestly don't think it's that wild, because I think at times, once we get through like that top tier of guys, which I think we would all agree that we're kind of pretty much at the end of that at this point. It kind of becomes what you prefer. Do you prefer sort of the high floor guys that have been in the league, you kind of know what you're getting, etc., or do you want to take the risk on some of these guys that may have high ceilings, even though you have? I mean, not that you really ever know for sure what you're going to get, but that have that don't have the track record built up yet. Again, not somebody that I was looking at in this round, but I mean, we already know that I gaffed earlier with talking about his team. So I let's just pretend that everything that I said earlier about Las Vegas, I'm saying now instead.
Yeah. No, it's not your fault, Scoop. It's PFF's fault for not updating their website. But Shane, do you think this is? I mean, could you see him as a top 6 guy to end next year?
I mean, I have him ranked 10th, so no, it's not that crazy. I mean, it's just you don't know, because I mean, first of all, we haven't seen him in the NFL at all yet. And even the very best players sometimes flop. But, I think given how good he looked against, schools like Oregon or these other programs that have, more NFL caliber players, I think it will translate well. Not to mention, I mean, his head coach is definitely known for running the ball, so I think he'll get a lot of production early, and so yeah, I have Bucky Irving at 7 after his rookie year, so yeah, I mean, is it a little high right now? Maybe, but like, I could see it being the case by the end of the year. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, Scoop, go ahead.
Okay. So I've spent a good amount of time talking a little bit about, kind of like the big play guys, the more explosive guys. This one, I'm kind of looking back at a little bit. Pardon me, I have the hiccups now. I'm kind of sitting back a little bit and looking at more consistency and kind of the more every down back type of guys. This is somebody who. Hello. This is somebody who had a lot of attempts this past year, but also tended to do a good amount with them. And I know he didn't have, quite a like I said, he didn't have the most explosive year, and I know that the fumbles are a little bit of a challenge. However, I also will say, even though he's got 6 fumbles, I also would point out that's going to happen. It's going to be elevated if you've got that many attempts, and he was third in attempts among running backs this past year. Give me the LA Rams, Mr. Kyren Williams.
Damn it! You took my favorite player. Dang it! Kyren Williams is my favorite player in the NFL. I'm going to say it straight out. He is. I love him. I love who he is as a player. I love who he is as a person. I have him at 10. I love this kid, and I'm sad I didn't get him. I wanted him. I didn't think you guys were going to take him. He's the only guy I wanted that was left on this board. Damn it. But I have him ranked at 10. Shane, where do you have him?
I have him 22.
Damn. Okay.
I don't. He doesn't impress me all that much. I mean, I think, yeah, he has a lot of yards. But that's just because he gets so many carries. Like, I think when I actually watch him, he doesn't. He just kind of. How do I describe it? He seems to have a hard time breaking to the second level and getting plays with big yards. Every time I've seen him, he just kind of runs like 3 or 4 yards into, a nose tackle, and that's it. So I don't know. I don't see. I don't see what everyone else does with him personally, but I do, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong; it's nothing like that. Yeah. So 22 for me.
Yeah, he's. I could see where your head's at. I'm just a little biased, I think, overall with him. To be fair. All right, Shane, go ahead with our next pick here.
Well, I think this guy, he's had a lot of injury problems, which I think a large part of that is due to his crappy offensive line. But he's a strange mix of insane burning speed and power. Usually you just have one, not both. And so I have him a little higher just because of that combination. And I got Kenneth Walker. I mean, I think obviously the injuries are a problem, but when he's healthy, there aren't too many guys in this league that are as quick and as powerful all in one as he is. So, I feel like I can't let him keep sliding.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I have him at 11. Scoop, what do you say?
I have him 11 as well.
Excuse me. Pardon. Again, example of somebody who I don't have quite as high, but that's mostly because the situation that he's been in. I think that he had higher expectations coming out of college than said that weird. Coming out of college than I thought that he would reach. So I'm probably holding that against him a little bit unfairly, but I think again, just we're kind of at this point of the draft, kind of choosing, what to prioritize and like what we think is more important than other things. So I don't have a major argument against the selection here. Again, I don't think that that's somebody that, I don't think that that's the selection that I would have made, but I certainly see the logic there.
Yeah. All right, give me Isaiah Pacheco, a guy that I'm a huge fan of. But I think with the Chiefs, it's tough because they have Mahomes, and obviously their offense is not the same. But I think when they use Pacheco, they're able to really help themselves offensively, drive to drive, and I just really like where he is at now in this offense. So I'm going to take him here. I have him 7th overall. Shane, where did you have him?
I'm 35. He's the worst starting running back in the league by a mile.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. In my opinion, from what I see, I mean, dude, the Chiefs are on prime time like every other week because it's the Chiefs. So I see a lot of him, and yeah, I don't see it. What everyone else sees. I mean, first of all, the injuries are a problem, yes, but more than that, it's just, I mean, he rarely has, big explosive plays, and despite having a great offensive line, other than this last year, he really has not been overly productive, and he doesn't score much. I don't know. It's not like he does much in the running game or in the pass game either. I don't know. I don't think he's all that great. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
I can see where you're coming from in certain respects. Scoop, what do you say?
I think calling him the worst running back in the league is probably not something.
No, not the worst. The worst starter.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I don't know. I think whenever you've got the pretty much consensus number one passer on your team, I think it's going to always be that juxtapositions. I think is always going to be difficult. I also have seen him make a couple of big plays, so maybe just the fact that I've seen a couple of these big plays in big moments, maybe that has me sort of a little bit slanted, compared to what he looks like over a 17 game span, or because the Chiefs more like a 19 or 20 game span. But again, I do understand that he is on a lot of lists, and at least in the bottom couple of guys, or at least the bottom 5 or 6 of guys. You've definitely seen him more than I have, so I'm just kind of going off of the data here. But yeah, I do disagree. I do rather agree with having him toward the bottom, and I think also sometimes maybe he gets a little bit of a cushion for playing in the offense that he does.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assertion there. All right, Scoop, go ahead.
Erky Dirky. So I have watched this guy fall about a round or two. Honestly, at one point, had thought that he already had gone off the board, so to still see him there kind of threw me off a little bit. And this I made a comment a couple of rounds ago about going for somebody who he had the longevity and he had the counted numbers and whatever. This is somebody who is not in the case. He's actually got a very compared to some others, he's got a relatively limited number of attempts this past year, but he did the second most number of yards with that body of work, actually only missing the lead by 4 yards, which was kind of crazy to me. He's still up there with regard to the ability to get guys to miss tackles. He's still up there. He's still got double-digit touchdowns. He's got actually the tied with Bijan Robinson for yards per attempt, has almost 1,200 yards, and his breakaway numbers are still up there in and of themselves, top 10 in first down. So he still does a lot of things positively, and I think sometimes gets a little bit overlooked because he's on a really crappy offense over the last few years. But I do got to show him some love, and not just because he's teammates with my guy Bryce Young. Give me Mr. Chuba Hubbard.
I have Chuba too low at 21. I think it's a habit of Carolina. It's like they're just so bad, and he's like one of the only good things in Carolina right now.
I also was kind of looking at it from this standpoint. To like, we kind of looked at the like. I can't remember if what teams either one of y'all root for in baseball. Like genuinely, but like
Mariners.
We kind of looked at this. Mariners. Okay, we kind of looked
the
at this.
Depressing one.
We talked the other day about guys who have to replace legends at different positions. To have to replace Christian McCaffrey, I think he's done about as well as you could have asked for in that respect. So that is also a factor in this as well. Where I think of not that expectations are particularly high ever in Carolina, but I think they are at that position. I think they were at that position, and I think he's done about as much as you could have asked for and more.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think it's really just about where Carolina is at as a whole. But if you watch him, like especially this is kind of a bizarre thought process, but especially in the international games last year with Carolina, which is one of the only times they were on national TV, he showed out.
That's not bizarre. I find that interesting.
Yeah. Shane, finish up on Chuba.
Yeah, I have Chuba 13th. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a very good back, but yeah, like you said, he just kind of gets overlooked being on the Panthers, and it's I mean, who's watching them besides nerds like us?
On Red Zone mostly, but yeah.
But then, to be fair, who's watching this show other than nerds like us?
Yes, that is
true.
Also true. That is also true. That is also true. All right, Shane, continue.
Let's see. Who am I taking? Oh, yeah. I'll take another guy who has been pretty much the one solid piece on a very terrible offense who also maybe gets a little bit overlooked. Breece Hall of the New York Jets. I think he fell. Yeah.
I think, you were just going to say about him falling. I think last year took me out on him a lot.
Yeah, he did.
That was
he's definitely
so frustrating.
He's definitely a lot lower now. I have him 12, which
I have him 13.
Maybe a little high.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, it feels a little high because last year was so bad, but it's also the Jets. Like, What are we going to... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not... When your offensive coordinator is Nathaniel Hackett, I'm not holding anything against you. All right, that's the situation we're in there.
Being surrounded by Broncos and Jets fans in my life, which is probably the two teams that, other than the Eagles, that my friends root for combined, I feel like I know more about Nathaniel Hackett than any other Eagles fan, and most of it's against my will.
I would argue you know more about Nathaniel Hackett than a lot of people on the planet. If you're around those kind of people, like, I'm gonna be honest.
True.
Yikes, that's a tough life. Scoop, do you think we have him a little too high?
Excuse me. I honestly don't. But I will say I have historically been a bit more of a Breece Hall fan than a lot of people have. So if I were doing a list, this is probably about where I would have had him, maybe even a couple picks higher. But again, like we talk about, running back is probably the biggest position in the NFL where a lot of it is, and I don't mean to disrespect the great running backs, but a lot of it is situational. A lot of it is your line. A lot of it is your coaching. Like, I know when it comes to offense, every position plays off of every other position, but running back is probably the biggest position where you are really limited in where you can go insofar as what your offense provides for you. So I think that Breece Hall is if we're looking not only at production but at who they are in and of themselves, which are two very different things. I think Breece Hall right here is a very good selection, and I might argue he's a value pick here.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this because he just broke his foot like 2 days ago. So I don't know how I feel about. Oh wait, I'm up, right? Just want to confirm that we're in good order here. Okay, good. I'm gonna take Joe Mixon, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I have him way too high at 8. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned with
You
the
took
foot
Joe
thing.
Mixon?
I did. And I like the foot thing too. Like I was like, oh, is he even gonna play this year? I mean, he's gonna play, but who knows? It's gonna be week 1. I don't know if
Right.
I'm factoring in the injury way too hard here. I still have him at 8.
I
I just
mean,
don't know if it's too high.
feet for running backs is pretty important.
Yeah. So Shane, am I crazy, or am I thinking like too much about the last couple days to like worry about it too much?
Well, yes, you are crazy, but we already knew that.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I'm kidding. I mean, I don't mind it. I think Mixon is definitely, I mean, he's 29, so he's, as far as running backs go, nearing the end of his shelf life. But he still played pretty well last year. But yeah, it's just the foot injury is not good, especially at the age of 29. Not to mention Houston's offensive line has gotten even worse somehow. So,
Oh Jesus.
so it's just like, yeah, it's just a lot of things working against. So I still have him ranked 18 overall. So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Maybe it is a little high. I don't know, but I get it.
The more I sit with it, I'm like, is this too high? Scoop, do you feel like it's a little too high?
I mean, again, we can pick nits over how high or low players are at every. I don't think this was like, if I were like an employer and your job was to rank guys for me, I don't think I'd fire you over that selection. But I it's tough because like I said, I could split hairs over, but I don't think. And again, we just talked about Brees Hall, so I think if you looked at them and you said late teens ish area, hit Bryce Hall, and then so going back to back, I think that's entirely fair.
Yeah, it's just I find it tough, but I'm okay with it. I'll live with it.
I, I also had him on my I don't have a list, but like in my mental list for my next selection. So if that
Okay.
tells you anything.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Scoop, go ahead. It is your time to shine here.
All right. I'm just double checking to make sure he's even on the list here. Yes, he is. Okay. So I'm going to go a little bit out of what might be a little bit out of left field, but he's a rookie. He was really good out of against Power 5 conferences, one of the highest rated against Power 5 conferences. I would argue that they have, they're neck and neck with my Eagles in terms of best offensive line, and we know that that's important, especially for rookies. I was a big fan of his quarterback last year, and I think that he's probably one of the few quarterbacks who's going to potentially not deal with as much of a sophomore slump. Give me Mr. Denver Bronco running back R.J. Harvey.
I think it's high, but I kind of love it. I'm a huge fan of this guy coming out. I really am. This is a projection pick, but I don't hate it. I have him at 29, and I still feel like it's a little low. I don't hate this because I think if the problem is if I just hope he starts week 1. I think if he starts week 1 and plays the whole year, that's going to be the difference. But
I agree with that, but I also I look at, and I'm somebody who I see what there is to like about J.K. Dobbins, but going back to that, even when Dobbins is healthy, like, are you really gonna like if you have to get the ball in a running back's hand, 2nd and 3, first and 10 or 1st and 8 after a penalty, whatever? are you really gonna say, oh, we're gonna stuff it with J.K. Dobbins over R.J. I just don't think that. And even though Sean Payton tends to like his veterans, I still think that this is going to be, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for Bo Nix to potentially not have to feel like he's. And I made the comment earlier about not have to be both Superman and Clark Kent. I think putting a genuine number one back in that backfield that he can rely on and kind of take some of the pressure off. People say that the young quarterback, their best friend is a good tight end, and I would say running back is right behind that.
Yeah. All right, Shane, your thoughts on the pick, and go ahead with your selection as well.
Yeah, I mean, I am 27. Yeah, I think part of it is just that I feel like J.K. Dobbins will start a good chunk of the year unless something crazy happens, obviously. But, in a year or two, I could definitely see R.J. Harvey really climbing up. So, yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who am I taking here?
For the record, I have Dobbins right below Harvey at 30. So 29 Harvey, 30 Dobbins. So funny enough.
That's kind of amusing.
But go ahead, Shane.
Well, I'm going to take the guy I have at 14, and that is James Conner. I kind of thought he was washed, and then I saw the year he had last year with Arizona, and I was like, oh, well, actually, this guy's still a really solid starter in the league.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised he fell this far, to be honest. But, anyways, here we are. I'll take him at 20.
Yeah, I have him at 19, so right around the range. Scoop, what do you think for James Conner?
This is another guy that I've kind of been eyeing for the last couple of rounds, and excuse me, I'm not as big on him as I used to be, mainly because I have my issues with Arizona's offense, and no, it's not because Arizona is run by Jonathan Gannon, who's an absolute snake. But just looking at things, objectively speaking, James Conner is, I think, an example of somebody who is a pure runner, but to me, it doesn't do a ton else. So if you're able to shut him down, it's kind of, and unfortunately, this past year he actually fumbled half as many times as he scored. So that kind of caught my attention a little bit as well. Like, I thought that for the times that he kind of put the offense into jeopardy, I didn't think that there was enough upside with him to take him. But again, I mean, we're in what round now? 17 or something. So
It feels like that at this point.
Yeah, so I've lost track, to be honest with you. But no, again, nothing really like majorly critical to say here. Just and that's kind of where we are now. Like I mentioned a couple rounds ago, is the balancing the upside play versus the body of work that we do know and have to go off of.
Yeah, for body of work here, I'm gonna go Aaron Jones.
Damn it!
I'm there. Oh no, Scoop! I took your guy.
So help me God! I have him highlighted as the next player I was going to take.
Me too.
Oh, yeah, so there you go. Finally get a steal. It's been forever, but
not only get a steal, but like I feel like we've been so different on most of these guys since like the top four, and now we literally all were about to take the same player.
Yeah, I mean, look, the injuries are a concern, but he's still a classic, really good running back. There's not much more to say. I mean, there's not much more to say if we all had him next. So there you go.
No, the thing that I was going to say is, he doesn't do anything elite, but he does everything you want in a running back. And plus, when they're rolling out J.J. McCarthy this year, who's thrown as many NFL snaps as all of us combined, I think that he'll be somebody that I think McCarthy will lean on more as he kind of comes back from that ACL and tries to build himself up early on in the Kevin O'Connell offense.
Yeah, and so I mean, I'm again classic running back, right? Shane, what made you consider taking him at this slot as well?
I mean, it's just all the reasons you guys have mentioned already, and I have him 15, which maybe is a little high, but
I have him 15 as well. Yeah.
Oh well, all right. Yeah, I mean,
see, we're on track with this guy.
There's a single brain cell left, and we're all sharing
one brain cell,
all sharing living in it.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he was a top 5 guy a couple of years ago, and I think we're just kind of seeing now as he's become more of a veteran player, and he's still solid, just not quite as dominant as he was, I guess. So yeah.
All right, Scoop. I'm sorry. Have fun. Go ahead.
No worries. I'm just going to break some baseball news real quick for anyone who cares. Eric Fetty of the Cardinals is being traded to the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, we got more trades. Good.
All
right.
And now back to what we're actually here for. This is kind of a balance between the analytical side of my brain, which typically takes precedent over the eye test side of my brain. But I've seen him a good amount because he plays in the NFC East. This is also my biggest indicator of this episode that I am not doing this bias because no Eagles fan likes this guy whatsoever. But I have to give him credit for what he's overcome to be as successful as he is. I have to give him credit for what he has accomplished. And every time I watch him play for the Washington Commanders, I just think that thank God this team finally has a defense. Otherwise, he would be, our daddy. And that's Mr. Brian Robinson of the Washington Commanders.
I have him way too low at 36. I'm not a huge fan of him. I'm just not. I don't think he's that special, but I think I might have him super low. Shane, what do you think?
I have him 32. So
he only had 223 attempts last year, but again, this is kind of like the opposite of the sort of the Isaiah Pacheco thing because looking at this guy, I mean, he had the misfortune, if you want to call it that, of being in the offense where Jaden Daniels may have had the greatest rookie season we've ever seen. So I kind of look at that as well too, where they kind of were just saying, "Hey, Jaden, do your thing." But I thought with the attempts and the reps that Brian Robinson did get, I saw him, come through more often than not, for sure.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels definitely has something to it, and yeah, it absolutely is the greatest rookie season ever by a quarterback. But yeah, I think that definitely has some precedent to it for sure. All right, Shane, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Where am I here? Yes.
It's getting harder and harder. Have fun. This is not looking good, folks.
Well, I'm gonna take the guy that was the main workhorse in the Chargers' dominant running attack, J.K. Dobbins. I don't see a lot of longevity for him, especially after his Achilles injury a couple seasons ago. But I think he'll certainly be a solid rotational guy going forward. But I just, I'm taking him here because I do think when he's been healthy, he is really solid. It's just, that's just it. It's health, ultimately.
Yeah. And I think Scoop, that's why we said what we said with Harvey. It's like the health with Dobbins is a huge concern.
Yeah, and that's also, and that was another factor in it as well. with why I took him there, because yeah, you don't know what you're getting with him with Harvey, but I mean with Dobbins' health, let's not act like he's a massive exclamation point either. So like that was kind of what I was weighing in my head.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna take my boy Chase Brown. The
Good pick.
The Bengals have to do everything offensively, but they continue like the way they used Chase Brown last year, especially in the second half of the year, was really good. Right, running the ball, passing the ball. They're going to continue to use them effectively, and so I really like this selection here. And again, if you're a fantasy player, look out. This guy could be a really fun selection there as well. But Scoop, do you have anything more to say on? Or Shane, go ahead on Chase. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have him 19, so right about here. Yeah, I do think he would be a lot better if he didn't play behind a bottom 5 offensive line in the league. I think that's the main thing that holds him back a little bit. Otherwise, though, yeah, I think especially in the second half of the year, if they can continue on that trajectory, I think he'll be a lot higher next year.
Yeah. Scoop, go ahead on Brown. My apologies there.
No worries. This is reminding me of the John Sterling call. You can bank on Chase when they had I don't even remember who it was. I think it was either Chase Whitley or whatever. But I do like this selection, and I feel like a broken record, but he has had my eye the last couple of selections. I think he, for some people, he's more of a, I don't want to say a projection, but he's another one of those guys that doesn't have the reps from last year or the attempts from last year. So he may get overlooked a little bit for people who are really looking for the guys who did the most. But and also I'll give him this also. He is one of the guys who I think is most underrated at being able to be both a rushing game threat and a receiving game threat.
100%, yeah.
Which I think is really coming back fast and furious, no pun intended. And of course, when you're playing for Cincinnati, you're going to obviously there's going to be a lot of passing in the Joe Burrow offense as well. So I think that's I think that's a really solid pick. And I emphasize the fact that his ability to do both and to contribute in both ways should get him more love than I think he does.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a reason I opened with it, and there's a reason we closed with the Scoop. It's 100% the reason he goes here. All right, let's go a little faster now because we're this is now finally getting extremely ugly. As I said earlier,
we're now in the dog days officially.
We are in the dog days. So Scoop, go ahead.
I'm not going to say who it is, but I'm just going to say there is literally one of these 15 guys left who literally I don't know who this guy is. I'm
wondering who it is.
I'm not even joking. And when he gets picked, I'll mention him. I'm not selecting him here, but we talked a little bit ago about upside plays, about projecting rookies and whatever the case may be. This is kind of almost a variation of that, where I'm projecting what a guy is going to be, not because he's not played before, but because he had such a brutal injury. But for a while, he was the best running back to me in the NFL that I had ever seen. And I know he got a brutal injury, but anytime you've got that level of consistent success with the Cleveland Browns, being behind the Houston Texans offensive line is not going to scare me. Give me Mr. Nick Chubb.
I'm fine with this. I have him too low at 32. I don't know how to rank him because of the injury.
Bro,
it's sad.
You have said I had him too low at least 8 times.
Because I like all these guys.
Be doing shots every time you say that.
Yes, because I like all these guys. I love the running back position. It's my favorite position.
Well, if you know that they're too low, then maybe you should just rank them higher.
That is true. I also just did this on a whim. So.
No, that's entirely fair. It just was hilarious to me that you kept saying that.
It's funny. I think this guy, truthfully though, it's just tough because of the injury. Shane, where'd you have him ranked?
Yeah, I have him 37, which I don't. It does pain me to say that. But yeah, I mean, seeing him last year, when he came back a little bit from the injury, he wasn't the same. And Father Time is not on his side now, so yeah, and then being behind Houston's awful offensive line will not help either. So
Yeah,
it sucks.
Cleveland,
I wish I could have him higher, but I just can't.
Yeah. All right,
So
Shane, go ahead.
Let's see, where am I here? Oh yes, give me another guy like Chase Brown, who I think is a pretty good running back. Just doesn't, or like Chuba Hubbard, who's good but just doesn't get noticed because they're either on a crappy team or on an offense that is terrible and does them no favors. Give me Ramondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots. A lot of people don't even know about him. I don't think.
I'll say that was not the player that I said I don't know.
Yeah. I assumed that, but yeah, I'll take him here. I had him 20th overall.
I also have him 20. The thing with Ramondre is he got benched for fumbling, and those fumbling concerns were massive.
Right.
They were so bad. So yeah. Okay. I'll take David Montgomery here to finish off the round. I'm okay getting what? Was he Knuckles or is he Sonic? I don't remember. Either way, I'm okay with this. Shane, where'd you?
I think he's Knuckles. He's Knuckles,
is
right?
He Knuckles? Is he Knuckles?
I think Jameer is Sonic and
what? I
David
forgot.
is Knuckles.
Where'd you have him ranked, Shane?
I had him 26.
Okay, 23. Scoop, where did you kind of theoretically have him here?
He's kind of someone who I had him higher a couple years ago, so I never know what to do with those guys. Where I'm like, am I overvaluing their fall off, or am I undervaluing them because I remember what they were? So I kind of never really know what to do with those guys. I would have probably put him. I would have probably put him a little bit lower, just because there are a couple of guys that I do have my eye on still. But again, I mean, we're dealing with names like Braylon Allen, Jalen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, Jack Charbonnet. Excuse me. That was an odd thing to missee, but Javonte Williams is kind of another example of that, where I don't know really where to put him, because like there are several guys here that I liked a couple years ago, and I kind of am struggling with where to put them now. So he would probably be after some of those, but again, that might be, I wouldn't even call it recency bias. It might be anti-recency bias is what I might call that.
Yeah. All right. So
I just looked it up. Gibbs is Sonic because he's the faster of the two, while Montgomery is Knuckles because he's tougher and more physical.
Okay, there
you go.
There we go. All right, Scoop, go ahead.
Quick football news: veteran cornerback Eli Apple is signing a 1-year deal with the 49ers.
Yikes! Have fun.
So,
Eli Apple.
Anyway, I'm looking at this, and I said that the top two O-lines, in my opinion, were Philly and Denver. Perhaps this might the the tackle duo that could potentially rival those two at some point. Those two teams at some point is the LA Chargers, and I've passed on this guy several times. I can't pass on him anymore. Give me Mr. Najee Harris.
Oh, over Hampton?
Excuse me?
Over Hampton?
I'm going with Najee Harris.
Okay.
And also, since you mentioned it, Omarion Hampton was the name I didn't recognize.
Hampton's the rookie out of North Carolina with the Chargers.
Yeah. I realized it after I looked. I knew who that was. I just forgot the name. I'm really bad with names. So,
no, that's fine.
But no,
Do you
I am.
do you think he's gonna start? Do you think Najee's gonna start the whole year? I guess is the main question here.
I I don't think that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if toward the end of the year we kind of see their snap numbers be not super disparate from one to another. Because from what I do know about them, they seem to kind of have different styles a little bit. And again, this is Jim Harbaugh. We know that he plays that. We know he loves the running game. I would not be surprised at all. Again, they got both of them for a reason. They drafted a running back in the first round for a reason, which we've seen more and more happen less and less, which was a horrible way to phrase that. So again, I think that at this point of the draft, I think that based on the fact, because again, we saw what he had to deal with in Pittsburgh. And just based on what I have seen from him, going back to his days in Bama, which obviously rolled tide from me, but this late into the draft compared to who else was in the pool, I think that he's a worthwhile take here.
Yeah,
I think there are some teams on which even the RB2 is going to end up being more valuable than other teams' RB1.
Yeah, and also as you talked about, Scoop, Jim Harbaugh is a big reason for it because he just likes his two running back sets. He likes having a young guy and an older guy, those kind of pieces. All right, Shane, continue on here.
Yeah, for the record, I had Najee 33.
Yeah,
I don't even know what number overall. I don't even know what number overall we're at. I'll be very honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine. We're so deep.
And then I had Omarion Hampton 23, which we're not there yet. But anyways,
yeah, I have Hampton 25.
Right now, though, I'm going to take the guy that I have at 21, and that's the guy that Najee Harris was benched for in Pittsburgh. Give me Jaylen Warren. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of his, but yeah, next. There's not much to say.
Yeah, that's why I have him in the 20s.
Yeah, yeah. I have him at 34. I'm not a huge fan, but Scoop, go ahead. Yeah. Let's move this forward. There's not much to say.
No, Robert.
Oh, am I up?
It's your pick.
I'm up. Yeah. I'm up. Jesus. DeAndre Swift. I think I'll take DeAndre. I like him a lot. I think he's I think he's really undervalued in Chicago. Statistically, it wasn't a great year, but if you actually watch the games, they used him a lot and they rely on him a lot. So I'll take him here. Scoop, go ahead.
To talk about your pick or to make mine?
Make yours. We're going through here.
Okay. Excuse me, hiccups. I apologize. Yeah, so not a lot of touchdowns from this guy last year, but he's one of the only 1,000-yard rushers still left. He's going to be going with a rookie quarterback this year who was taken number 1 overall in Cam Ward. So we don't really know what to – even though there's a lot of Cam Ward fans, I'm not one of them, but I'm not like anti him either. I just don't love him the way that some other people do. But as we all said earlier, in some way or another, a lot of these young quarterbacks tend to be flanked by intense running games. And I look forward to seeing what happens with Mike Vrabel up in there. Not Mike Vrabel, excuse me.
It is Vrabel. It is
no,
Vrabel.
No. Vrabel's coaching the Patriots now.
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
Brian McCallahan.
Brian McCallahan, yeah. Thank you.
Or Callahan, yeah.
Either way, somebody who we expect to use the running game quite a bit. And I was actually a fan of this guy even back in Dallas. I thought at times he was the better running back, even though they refused to play him as much as I thought they should have. Give me Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard, yep. It's a good selection there. All right, Shane, continue on here.
I have Pollard 25, so yeah.
I have him 28.
I'll take the rookie now, Homer.
And this is pick 32, so that's pretty valid, I would say.
Yeah.
I'll take Omarion Hampton now.
Yep, take him.
I think he'll be the primary back in LA in probably a year. So.
Yep. I think that's fair. Give me Tyrone Tracy. out of the New York Giants. He was really good, really underrated last year. I'm gonna grab him there. All right, Scoop, go ahead.
Okay. Again, another guy who did not have a ton of touches last year, but with what he did, was one of the only guys to not have a single fumble. And with the way that their quarterback situation is looking right now, it kind of reminds me of the Rich Eisen quote: "If you've got multiple quarterbacks, you have none." They just had another guy go down today with an injury, and again, unfortunately, it looks like they are having some issues with their fifth round selection off the field already. Brown's gonna Brown. Give me Mr. Jerome Ford.
Yeah, Jerome Ford is dealing with some injuries, but it's a tough situation in Cleveland. I have him at 35. But again, dog days.
Yeah, and this is the 34th or 35th pick, right? So
yeah, around the range there. All right, Shane, go ahead. Where do you have Ford ranked as well?
38.
Okay, so. Go ahead.
I'll take Charbonnet here. I think he is another guy who's held back by a terrible offensive line, but he's a very powerful and explosive runner. So
yeah, I'm not a huge I have him last. This sounds wrong, but I don't know where to rank him because honestly, I had a tough time even putting him on the list because I remember we were talking about
he was Seattle's primary back last year just because of injuries with Walker.
Yeah,
and he did pretty well, but
that is true. Scoop, where do you have Charbonnet? I'm curious.
Excuse me. He wouldn't have been my best available player here, but again, I think that's because I probably have one of these final guys a few spots higher than y'all do. I mean, we're at the bottom 5 now. I don't think any of us are splitting hairs too damn much. So
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, Travis Etienne, a guy who needs to figure something out in Jacksonville or get traded, honestly, because it's rough. It's a rough situation.
Yeah, I thought it was a total reach when he was drafted. I was like, really?
Well, it was also Urban Meyer who made that. Was it Urban who made that pick? Who made that pick? I don't remember. I think it was Urban.
No.
Was it Urban?
He was fired by then.
Okay.
So it must have been Coach Peterson.
That was Peterson.
Yeah.
Well, really, that pick really was Trevor Lawrence because it was his college buddy. But
yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't know because I forgot the guy who's behind him. I have to look it up, but he was also really good last. Bugsby, yeah, Bugsby.
I think he's better than Etienne personally.
He might be better at this point. It's not a bad take. Yeah,
you know who I liked more than Etienne in Jacksonville? James Robinson.
That's valid.
Remember that guy?
That was kind of similar to the Cowboys situation for me, where I was just like, "Why are you putting this guy at RB2 when he looks better?"
Yeah, I felt that way with Pollard too in Dallas. I mean, I think anyone who watched Dallas closely thought that. Okay, Scoop, go ahead.
Speaking of Dallas, this is a guy who's really fallen off, but quite frankly, so is the franchise. They have one of the worst quarterback contracts in the league. They almost had to hire a fan out of off of the streets of Arlington to be their head coach this year, and instead ended up with Brian Schottenheimer, who I don't think has been getting interviews to be a head coach since the Clinton administration. So I'm going to go with a guy who I hope can come back because I did like him early on. Give me Mr. Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough. Yeah, he's really fallen off. But honestly, it feels like everything the Cowboys is doing is for the streets at this point, except signing proper contracts. Yeah, Shane, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take Rachaad White here. I mean, he's definitely a 2, but I think you get a lot of upside with him, especially in the passing game. So, uh, I think that's good for something.
Yeah, I'm happy with Braylon Allen. Young guy, man. He's what, 21 now still? I mean, that's amazing that he's 21. So hopefully he gets more pub in the New York, New Jersey area. Okay, that is it for the draft. We watched The Incredibles this week. I know, Scoop, you didn't have much time to watch it, but I will start with you and say this. What do you remember about those old school Disney Pixar movies? So that's a fun era of movies.
I'll be honest with you. The biggest thing that I remember is that it's now a running joke in my friend groups and in my relationship that I know about as little about Disney and Pixar as anybody, and get as few references as anybody in under 27. I could barely remember, like, if you named probably 6 characters from Disney Pixar, I would be proud of myself if I got 2 of them. It's unfortunately it's just not an area of which I have a ton of knowledge, and I just that's why I kind of recuse myself from that conversation, because I just don't like wasting people's time. But yeah, I will.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I think it's totally fair, right? So everyone has their stuff that they're into, stuff that they're not, stuff they didn't get into. Hey, I didn't get into Marvel until recently, so I get it there. But Shane, we're doing this one obviously for Fantastic Four First Steps, which I just saw this weekend. Very good. Highly recommend. But
would you say it was fantastic?
Oh, it was fantastic. Of course it was fantastic. It was okay, but speaking on that really quick, Shane, The Incredibles until recently, until this week, was the best Fantastic Four movie, right? I mean, Fox didn't know what they were doing with Fantastic Four for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's a family of 4 that becomes a family of 5. They all wear matching suits.
Elastigirl is Mr. Fantastic, pretty much.
Right, and then there's one who turns invisible. There's one who's super strong, and then Dash and Human Torch. They kind of have their own things going on, but they're still both kind of like hot-headed and no pun intended.
Yeah.
And just high energy type of guys. But yeah, and I mean their names, but fantastic, incredible, Yeah. So but this, The Incredibles has been my favorite Pixar movie ever since it came out in 2004.
Yeah.
And I rewatch it every couple of years, and that hasn't changed. It's even as an adult, I notice new things about it every time I watch it. You would never know how old it is just based on the animation, and I also really love the musical score. I think the music is fantastic. It's, in my opinion, one of the top 10 movie soundtracks ever.
Who did the score again? Wait. Who did
Giacchino.
The score again? Who also did the score for Fantastic Four? That's interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, he does like almost every movie ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really kind of has that that 60s Bond vibe to it. If it was like in a superhero world, and I just think it works great. And the animation too, I think does a great job of making you feel like you're in the environment where they are. I mean, in the opening scene, when they're younger and they're going around doing their thing, you can just tell that it's like a warm, humid New York City night where it's kind of orange and everybody's all warm and it's just so, it just looks so real and it's so immersive. And and then like being on the when they're in the jungle, there's just like all these tiny little beads of sweat on their heads. It's like these little small details that if you didn't have them, you probably wouldn't notice, but like once you see them, you're like, oh, that's really, like it just adds to the realism. But aside from all the technical stuff with it, it's just an amazing story and an amazing, I think every character has a clear arc, and not only that, but every character's arc relates to the main story in some way. And that's pretty rare that you see that in a movie where everybody has an arc and it relates back to the main story. And I mean, I think it's really clever too how all their powers kind of relate to their personality or their role in the family. Where Mr. Incredible, he's the the working man, and he's carrying the financial burden, so to speak, of this family, and so he's very strong. And then Elastigirl, she's like the stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, and she's all over the place, so she is very stretchy. And then Violet, she's got like the social anxiety and just wants to like be hidden. She's invisible. And Dash, his mind is just like, whoa, and he's super fast. And, and then Jack, I mean, babies are unpredictable. So, and that's his powers just seem limitless. So yeah, I like how their powers all really relate to their personalities. And, I think it's obviously very fun for kids. But I think this is the rare movie where there's definitely an adult, mature theme to it, where kids watch it, and kids aren't going to take away the big idea or the theme of the movie, like about parenting. And but it's like, no, they're like, oh, big robot, well, it's like whatever. But then as the adults sit there and watch it, it's like, oh wow, this is very relatable. And just about things like being faithful and loyal to your partner, not like cheating, but just being honest with them. And not saying, okay, yeah, I'm going on a work conference, when in reality you're going and doing a illegal superhero thing. Stuff like that. And and certain jokes too, like when Elastigirl shows up and Mr. Incredible's standing there hugging that woman for saving him, and Elastigirl punches her because she thinks, she walks in and sees her husband hugging some woman, and she's like, no. Which, as a kid, I saw that and I was like, why'd you do that? She saved him. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, no. And there's a lot of really iconic parts. For instance, the where's my super suit? That whole thing.
Frozone's my favorite character still. After all these years, he's still my favorite character. He's still my favorite character.
I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson. You can't beat that. Yeah, and that's and I think another really underrated piece of that movie is Edna.
Edna, yeah.
Who makes the costumes? She's another character that she's in a very small part, but she steals the scene. And fun fact, she was voiced by Brad Bird, the director of the movie.
Oh my god, I forgot that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, she is hilarious. She's another character that, it's like, as a kid, I was like, okay, she makes costumes, whatever. But now, now when I watch it, I'm like, she is hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah.
She gets in the, he pulls up to the gate and there's a little camera and she's like, my God, you've gotten fat. Please come in. I was like, oh no. um, and anyways, yeah.
And that's after he worked out too.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
yeah,
which
it
makes
is.
it
Yeah.
funnier.
I mean, he's still bigger than he was, back in the day, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, and the whole scene, at the insurance office when I found that really funny now too.
Everything at the insurance office is hilarious. Every piece.
Yeah. But as a kid, I was like, this is boring. But now he's like, I never understood why my parents laughed when it was like, he gets up and goes, I'm sorry, ma'am. I know you're upset. And it like yells that out to the floor. And they would always laugh. I was like, what? That's not funny. He should, but now I'm like, oh no, that is funny.
Is this getting an A for you in the rankings, or where are you ranking?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
for sure. This is, this is a top 5 animated movie all time for me.
I think I don't have any arguments. I really don't.
Yeah.
The fun part about this too, after watching Fantastic Four, was like, damn, these movies are breezy, and it's nice. Like I just ran through them, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like the stories are simple, but also fun and lighthearted, and well, not totally lighthearted for Fantastic Four, but I just like the fact that I could breeze through it, enjoy it, and then move on. But that's what makes that movie great, especially when you're older.
Yeah, and I think that's that's the thing about stories is you don't want a movie with a super complicated story, which most people would say, what are you talking about? Yeah, you do. No, you want a simple story that has complicated and complex characters. That's a key distinction that most people don't realize. And I didn't either until just a few years ago, when I learned about it at film college. So, but then they started saying that, and then I started watching movies, and I was like, looking at all the movies that are considered to be some of the best, and it's like, well, actually, yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, you can list any great movie, but yeah, I mean, I think the thing that really sticks out for me the most with Incredibles is, that it makes it so often it's like the hero is, or the main character, whatever, in an action type of movie is off doing their thing, and then the mom or the dad is at home and with the kids, and that's just like whatever, no one cares about it. It's like most of the time they don't even go back and show it. You're just like, yeah, they're at home, whatever. But I really like that this movie not only shows them at home and how that's all going, but it portrays parenting as a heroic act. And what are the lengths that somebody will go to for their child. And I think this movie does a great job of that. It not only does it keep that part of it engaging, but it also sends a good message.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah. Yeah. This gets a 9 out of 10 for me. It's still so good after all these years. The other piece that I find funny, quick Fantastic Four tidbit. This obviously came out a year before the 2005 Fantastic Four. And the funny part is Fox was going to work in a lot of similar jokes as The Incredibles in that movie, but they got rid of it because they couldn't do it anymore, which I think is amazing. But yeah, no, this movie's fun. And then we're going to do some Christopher Nolan next week. We're going to start, I think, with Inception next week. That's going to be fun. But for Scoop, for Shane, for myself, it's good to be back with you all. And we'll see you all next week.
Show.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good night.
Peace.